Hello everyone, it's me, Lay, and welcome back to my channel. Hello there, creative friend. Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Lay. Today we are continuing our Artful Journaling Series, and I am on my second day. So if you haven't seen my latest video, I talked about the artful journaling and my shell method, and I did share a free 14-day prompt on my Patreon page. It's for free. I'm gonna post a link in the description, so please do make sure to check it out. So today's prompt is stick a sticker that I think describes your mood. Well, I remember that I do have this artwork that I created, I think a couple of days ago, and I'm like, you know what? Instead of sticker, I'm actually going to use this illustration. And I was testing out some pastel pencils from Faber-Castell, and so I'm like, you know what? This is so pretty to just leave it in that like a little piece of marker pad. So I'm like, this is what we're going to use today. All right. So, but before everything else, I am going to gesso this page because I'll be doing some painting and then I'll be doing some pastel. So I wanted some grit on my surface. And so I'm just applying the gesso with my palette knife, and then I'm going to dry it with my heat tool. Having a heat gun or a heat tool when it comes to mixed media is really handy because it really does speed up the process. Okay, so now that our page is dry, I grabbed a sponge, an applicator, and also my pan pastels, and I wanted to add some pink to my girl, just to match the sleeve of her shirt. Is that a sleeve? No, the color. Okay, so but I wanted to add some pink in there. So I grabbed the applicator and then just started adding some blush on to my beautiful girl. And then really, you know, I just wanted to add a little bit of color. And then since I have the pink already for her, the shirt that she's wearing, so I'm like, you know what? I figured just add a little bit of blush in here. Now, I just love the pan pastels. I just need to learn more how to use them because, it's a fairly new pastels and pastel pencils and the pan pastels are a fairly new product to me. So I'm still learning how to use them and incorporate using them in my work, sketchbook work or journal. And it doesn't have to be the traditional way, just trying to learn how to incorporate it more in my everyday journaling and everyday sketchbook practice and all that. All right, so I figured, okay, since I'm doing some pan pastels in here, I'm just going to use the same pan pastels in here to apply some colors to my page. And as you can see, there's like a little bit of that wrinkle effect. That is because of the way I applied my gesso. And that's why I never, okay, that's not true. I seldom blend my gesso very smoothly because when I'm doing any type of mixed media, most of the time I really want textures. And so that's why part of the prep is the way I would spread out the gesso into my surface, so, and as you can see, because of the powder of the pastels, it's really nice. It just gave it a different look than, let's say, if I used an acrylic paint. I think it would give me a different effect. So this is what I meant when, this is what I meant when I said I'm still trying to learn how I can use the pan pastels, whether it's the traditional way to use it or non-traditional, just like how I used it here in my journal today. Okay, so now it's time to tape her into the page. I'm trying to decide on the right or the left, and right and the left, but I think I decided finally to the left side. All right, and then I will also use a matte medium. Is that what you call it? Matte medium gel? I think that's what you call it. And then I'm pulling out some stamps. I don't think I will end up using that. the rim of the toilet paper. So I don't think I will use it. But I'm just pulling out some stamps. I believe that this set is from Ranger Tim Holtz. I could be wrong, but I can't remember anymore. And then I'm using some dye inks. This particular ink is from, is it the Sassy Club or something like that? Oh my gosh, I am so terrible. Yes, the Sassy Club. That's the Onyx Black. So that's a premium dye ink. I love dye inks because they are waterproof when they're dry, and also they dry faster. They dry faster than a pigment ink, you know, but they really do serve different purpose. So, but today, um, I just need dye inks. All right. So I'm just going to stamp it all over the place because later on I am going to cover up most of these anyway. So basically, I am just trying to create more textures underneath. So it's like an underpainting, but I wanted it on top of my color. Does that make sense? Even though I will cover it up with some acrylic paints later, I still want it on top of the pastel. So when working with mixed media, I think the most important thing to understand is the way you do your layers, right? So most of the time, I just start with gesso, whether it's a clear, a white, or black gesso. That is my primer. And then most of the time I do my collage if I have like a pattern paper or, you know, a book page, torn pieces of paper. I do that. And intentionally, if I want this to be underneath, right? Because it's different. It's not always the same. Sometimes I add colors in first and I do my collages. So it's not always the same, but I do understand what I need to do as long as I have the final result in my head. Okay, so like what I said earlier, I am now using a white acrylic paint. This is the titanium white from Artist's Loft from Michaels. I like this acrylic paint because it's not that expensive, you know, and so I get the big tube, especially white. I think white and black is are white and black are the colors that I think I use the most when it comes to acrylic. Um, so now I'm just using my finger, my pointer finger in here, and then just basically almost like smudging and dabbing in areas where we have applied the stamps, and also some areas of my collage, my girl. So I'm just kind of making it where those elements are just peeking through. You know, one thing that I really love about mixed media is the way that it's so relatable to real life, you know, because we work in layers and there's part of our lives that we want to highlight, we want to hide somehow, but still peeking through the surface. Um, and so it's like so relatable. And then with mixed media, you can cover up, you can highlight it, you can, you know, you can put layers on top of it and bury it. So it's like, I feel like it's the mess and the control and the out of control. It's just life. It's the beauty of life. So when I do mixed media like this, I feel like I just feel like it's so freeing, you know, because we don't always have control over what's going to happen to our lives. And so that's like mixed media is like I am in control here. I can cover up, I can highlight, I can showcase or layer and bury something. I don't know. Sounds cheesy, but I just have fun with mixed media. Okay, now I'm using the Caran d'Ache Neo Color 2. I don't know what I was thinking here. I feel like I wanted to add some warmth on top of it, but not so much. So the Neo Color is water soluble pastels. So it's like the art crayons from Gelatos also. So you can use it on top, add some water, you can smudge it, you can blend it. But unlike the art crayons, these Neo colors, you can't smudge it as well when it's dry, because it's not as creamy as the art crayons. And that's why I feel like the art crayons are more versatile just because of that part, because you can smudge it, directly. Now, this one you can pick it up with a water brush as well. But when it's dry, you can just kind of like work it like a regular pastel. You can work in layers, smudge and blend it like that in layers. Okay, so now I'm using a dauber tool, and I wanted to add some more textures, some more visuals in here, and so I'm using a stencil from Faber-Castell, so a mandala stencil, and I'm using the parchment. That is the color. So the parchment color from Artist Loft. It's an acrylic paint, and I love how subtle it is. Look at this. It's just, it added, it definitely added some textures and patterns in there without adding some more additional bulk and busyness, if that makes any sense. Just because the color is so subtle, it's not in black or it's not in dark brown, so with the color being so light, it just blends. It blends so beautifully. I just love this one. Okay, so now it's time to cover up my girl, because I used pastel pencils in this and I didn't necessarily want to go down and spray this with a setting spray. So I'm like, I figured I'll just use my matte gel to cover it up, and it worked. I mean, it looks so pretty. Now it's not gonna smudge or anything like that. And then I grabbed my Pentel. It's from, I think this one is from Pentel. I think so. So it's just a soft brush. I love this, but it's not waterproof, so I definitely have to cover this up later when it's dry. When it's all dry, I need to either put some matte gel on top of it or some what do you call this? Some Mod Podge. But I'll just use a matte gel because it's matte and it's prettier. But I'm almost done here. I'm just gonna add some gold details, and then I will write down something regarding the scripture down below. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you enjoy creative contents like this, I do hope you consider subscribing to my channel. Again, my name is Leigh Ralston. It was such a pleasure hanging out with you today. Until next time, stay creative and stay happy. Bye, guys.